Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Today is November 14th, 2025, and this is your Friday planning video. Now, we're heading into another weekend, and I want to talk about something that's come up in a lot of client conversations lately. Now, that's retirement readiness, and not the kind of retirement readiness that's just about how much you've saved, but what it actually means is to be ready. The myth of the magical number. In my 32 years of doing this business, I've heard a lot of people ask me the same question: how much do I need to retire? There's this assumption that if you hit some magic number, a million, 2 million, whatever the media's latest benchmark is, that you're all set. But as a recent article in Kiplinger pointed out, the size of your nest egg isn't the true measure of readiness. It's not the number that matters most, it's what that number can do for you. Because once you retire, the focus shifts from accumulating to distributing, from building wealth to using it wisely in a way that supports your lifestyle, your health, your peace of mind for decades to come. It becomes time to go from saving to paying yourself. Think about it this way. For most of your life, your income has come from work, paychecks, commissions, bonuses. You know what's coming in, what's going out, and what's left over. But in retirement, that equation flips. The paycheck stops, and suddenly you're paying yourself from your portfolio, from Social Security, from pensions, or maybe from rental income. That's why retirement planning isn't just about how much you have, but that how efficiently that wealth can be converted into reliable income. And that's where a lot of plans fall short. You can have a 7-figure portfolio, but if it's not structured for distribution, if you're relying too heavily on growth assets or ignoring tax efficiency, your retirement could feel a lot tighter than it should. Because the real key isn't just the balance, it's the cash flow. In retirement, cash flow is comfort. Let's talk about the spending curve. No one really expects this one. Here's another reality check. Most people's spending in retirement doesn't stay steady. In the first 5 years or so, it often increases. I hear it every time. How did I ever have time to work? I'm busier now than when I had a job. You've got the free time you always wanted, but maybe you travel more, you redo the kitchen, or you help your kids buy their first home. Then it settles down for a while, spending curve flattens out, until later in life when healthcare costs or the need for assistance start to climb. That's what makes flexibility such a big deal. A good retirement plan isn't static. It's not one number that never changes. It's dynamic, designed to evolve as your life does. Because what you need at 65 might look very different than what you need at 75, and different again at 85. The silent risk, longevity. And here's the part most few people like to talk about: longevity risk. Now, that, of course, is the risk of outliving your money. Most folks underestimate how long they'll live by nearly a decade. Medical advances, better nutrition, healthier lifestyles. They mean retirees today could easily see their 90s. Most statistics say you will. That's a wonderful thing, but it changes the math. You're not planning for 20 years of retirement anymore. You might be planning for 30 or 35. That means that old 4% rule that we work with, it doesn't fit as neatly as it used to. Inflation, taxes, market volatility can all stretch or strain what once seemed safe. That's why the goal isn't to plan for average life expectancy. It's to plan for possible life expectancy, because averages don't live real lives. People do. And we want your money to last not just to the end of your forecast, but to the end of your story. There's an emotional transition. Now, let's step back from the math for a minute, because financial readiness is only half the equation. The other half is emotional readiness. I've seen it again and again. Clients who have worked for 30 or 40 years, then suddenly retire and wonder, now what? We underestimate how much purpose, structure, and identity come from that work. So when that part of life goes away, it can leave a void. That's why I always encourage clients to think about not just about the dollars and cents, but what you're retiring to. What will fill your days? Who will you spend your time with? What will give you energy and meaning? If you're not intentional about those questions, retirement can feel like hitting the brakes too hard on a moving car. The financial plan should support the life plan, not the other way around. Let me suggest the 3 pillars of readiness. When I talk with clients about retirement readiness, I like to boil it down to 3 pillars. Income structure. Do you have dependable, inflation-aware, tax-efficient income plan? Not just a savings balance. Number 2, flexibility. Does your plan allow for spending to rise and fall, or do you feel locked into one number forever? Number 3, purpose. Are you retiring from something or to something? When those 3 pieces are aligned, retirement feels less like an ending and more like a transition from building to living. So before you measure your retirement readiness by the size of your accounts, try asking yourself a few questions. Do I know where my income will come from and how much of it will be guaranteed? Have I stress tested my plan for inflation, longevity, or healthcare shocks? Have I reviewed my Social Security strategy to maximize lifetime benefits? And maybe most importantly, do I have a clear picture of what my days will look like once I'm not working? If any of those make you pause, that's okay. That's exactly what planning is for. There's a value to planning ahead. You can't control markets, you can't control inflation, but you can control your structure. You can build a plan that gives you flexibility, confidence, and choices, no matter what the economy does. That's what separates retirees who feel anxious from those who feel prepared. It's not luck, it's intentional design. And that's what we're here to do. So this weekend, let me suggest you take a few minutes to think not just about how much you've saved, but what kind of retirement you're actually building. What do you want your days to look like? What will give you meaning and joy? And does your plan support that vision? Not just financially, but emotionally. Because as the Kiplinger article reminded us, true retirement readiness isn't about just the size of your nest egg. It's about how well you plan. Your plan supports the life you want to live. And if you'd like to take a fresh look at your plan, your income, strategy, tax structure, or long-term projection, let's schedule a review to do so. This is what I love doing, helping you move from uncertainty to clarity, because the goal isn't just to retire comfortably, it's to retire confidently. Have a great weekend, keep planning, and we'll talk soon.